Okay, call the meeting to order. The first order on the agenda is the approval of minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That was all everyone carried. Number 3, topics from the floor from attendees not otherwise on the agenda. So do we have anyone in the audience that wants, Patrick, you want to talk? Come on up and state your, I don't know what we have to do now. Name is just name now, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't have to do address.
Yeah, just your name. We don't want to know your address because someone might come and not like what you're saying.
That's all right. I'm glad they did. Go Pack Go.
We're in the
Don't
back
root
of-
for San Francisco, but I did when they played the Vikings. So.
Well, I wanted Minnesota to win that game.
Hi, Patrick Berkeley. Just a couple of real quick comments. Bring you up to date on some of the Dalton Lake walks that we've been doing. So so every second Saturday, from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, through the Recreation Department, been sponsoring walks at Dalton Lake. And we had our 5th one on Saturday. 9 people showed up. It was a record. I've done 5 of them. This is only the 2nd where people actually showed up. So we did have 9 people from age 4 up through older than me. And
That's great.
I'm 60, so
What did you say?
10 to 12. And one of the really nice things about it is that several of the participants were people who had played at Dalton Lake years ago, back in the 70s and 60s as children and hadn't really seen it before. Anyway, so we're just continuing with those, and if you haven't had a chance to get down there lately, please join us, or I'd be happy if you give me a call to do a personal tour. We do have a new Facebook page, the Friends of Dalton Lake Nature Preserve. If you haven't checked it out, please do. I've been posting pictures from like the last 10 years of every visit I've gone down there to try to just kind of document what's going on. And a gentleman who participated in the walk on Saturday, Steve Marks, posted up some really interesting information about history of Columbia City, but it's related to Dalton Lake in terms of what was going on the riverfront there at Dalton Lake 100 years ago when they were building ships and all kinds of other activities. So just wanted to bring you up to date on that. We're hoping to have another cleanup on April 25th at the lake. I'll be submitting the paperwork to the city for permission through Solve and all of that, and getting that on the agenda. But that'll be Saturday, April 25th, from 9 to 12. Our focus is going to be, we've been focusing up on the bluff, but there's an area on the northwest side which on the maps juts out into the lake and a little bit, which is an ideal place for birding, but the ivy and the blackberry are just horrible there, and we're going to try to focus on that spot. Yeah. The other thing is, I just submitted my my volunteer form for 2020 to Kathy, and when I emailed her to get a copy, and she said she's redoing it again, and this one to include like a little card or something that volunteers can pull off to have on hand. I would say, so I want to thank you. I was reading the minutes from the last meeting as well. I want to thank you for your response to, dealing with that issues. And I do think, however, that I still, as a personal issue, I think that having that kind of identification is really good. Of course, if I am doing work again, I'm going to make sure that that knows what's going on. But that if I were to be encountered again by somebody questioning what I was doing, if it were a city employee or a member of the police department or somebody like that who was questioning what I was doing, I would gladly show them what I have in my wallet. I'm less inclined to do that to just anybody who won't maybe identify themselves and demand. So I still think that perhaps some kind of other visual badge, tag, or something would be helpful. Because again, as a citizen, I have no problem if I am asked by a member, a city employee, but if it's just an individual who's at the park and I don't have any idea who they are, I would not be inclined to voluntarily
I tell you not to.
do that. So again, I want to thank you though for, working on that in one way so that if, say, if I am questioned by a city employee or whatever, I'd gladly take out, a card or whatever I have in my pocket to show them. But perhaps again, thinking about some kind of visual identification that a person could see.
Patrick, if you would stay there for a minute. I have two comments on that. One is that card could be laminated, with an area where you could put a safety pin or some type of attachment to it, so it could be in your billfold, and then when you actually go do it. And the other thing, Thad, on that, did we say that once the card is issued, it's good for that year, that calendar year, but they have to check with you or the supervisor of that particular area before they can go to work?
It really should. Safety-wise, everything.
Well, I mean,
Should check.
I don't know if it should be shall, maybe not should, in the wording.
We
is
made
my
a
opinion.
motion the last meeting for what we wanted to happen. If I can find it in the notes. The motion was recommend that the city make some type of ID card that would put in the wallet for park volunteers, good for a calendar year. And I think we talked about checking with that, but I don't know
Yeah.
that we made a motion.
Sue, maybe you guys can talk about it among yourselves, and, my thinking on it is have the card laminated with maybe some way for it to be, that person could attach it to
It's
them.
like a little clip.
You could put it in a lanyard or something
Yeah,
like that.
some
I mean,
way.
anyone.
That's a potential. We talked about several different
Okay.
things that,
You guys can come up with whatever you want to do. And then the other thing is, I think the wording on the card or on the back of the card, or what you have that's on the back of the card, it says, the recipient of this card shall contact the supervisor before they go to work in their given area. That would be my thinking on that. But that's you guys' call. But we know we've had issues. Patrick, is there anything else you want to say?
No, I mean, and it makes sense. I'm glad that it's all being clarified.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Anyone else from the floor that's not on the agenda that wants to talk? Oh, we have a spokeswoman here. Very good.
Oh, yeah, okay, so
Just to state your name.
I'm Linda Zoll, and do you have the ability to put slides up on the screen?
I don't think Terry heard.
You contacted us earlier, maybe.
I'll try.
So there's two. First of all, we'll talk about plants for pollinators. So there's a file called Plants for Pollinators. Later, I'll be doing the twin.
We're on number 3.
Okay, so people from Portland Urban Beekeepers, if you'd like to raise your hand, you want to come up? Okay, so we'll start. We want to give you our support. So my name is Linda Zoll, and I'm the president of Portland Urban Beekeepers.
I'm Heather Longauger, and I'm in the
Secretary.
Yeah, I'm the secretary.
I'm sorry, for Columbia County
For
Urban.
Columbia County Urban.
Yeah, I'm in the wrong club. I used to be there. And we have back here our vice president for Columbia County Oregon Beekeepers. Do you want to pass? There's only 4 of these, but if you'd like to, why don't you pass 3 of them, one to each side, and then we can keep one to kind of look at. And then hopefully she'll get them up on the screen so everyone can. I didn't know how many people would be at the meeting. One of the things that that we recognize that with pollinators, one of the biggest problems they have is forage. And of course, as a parks department, you're ideally situated to be able to expand their forage. One tree is worth a million flowers. And so, you know, we have when we look at St. Helens, there's almost no flowering trees in the whole city. You know, we have some early flowers like apple trees and things like that. But it'd be really neat to see in our parks some of the flowering nectar trees. Some are natives and some are not there. And so here is just a brief list. If you look at, I think, if you go across, slide 3 is the bottom lower left. That's a publication out of Washington, but specifically for Oregon and Washington and the valley here about pollinator plants. And then if you go to slide number 4, which is the bottom right, that's a list. And if you look at when those trees blossom, they blossom at different months of the year. So if you really want to have forage for native pollinators, you need to get plants that blossom throughout the season or that put pollen out throughout the season. So you can have your big leaf maples, that's a great nectar, and then you can have your alders, which is a great pollen source. And then I just added just 2 flowers because these are like master flowers. They go for both honeybees and for the native bees. So I also represent the Native Bee Atlas from Oregon State University here in Columbia County. And that's goldenrod and what is the blue flower's name?
Amos?
Nah, we're going to talk about that next. It's on, I think it's slide 5. Sorry, I don't have that. No, sorry. Yeah, slide 5, upper left corner.
Did you need one?
Oh, yeah, there you go. If I just look at one, I'm sorry. It is, Douglas aster. So aster, it just grows so nicely. You can take that down. It grows so nicely. You put in a bunch, and it just keeps expanding. And then you can take that bunch and just keep moving it. And it provides forage for both native and honeybee pollinators and other beetles and butterflies, native butterflies, for those dearth months, so when we don't have any rainfall. So from July to September, it just pumps out the nectar for them. And so I just
We
really
need that.
really wanted to encourage the Parks Department whenever you're kind of putting in plants. And aster's great because it's a native. And the goldenrod is great because it's a native. A lot of people think they're allergic to the pollen of goldenrod, but the research shows that it's actually not the goldenrod that they're allergic to. So there's a fear when people see it out there, but it's really an unfounded fear. So that is what Portland Urban, we're with Columbia County.
Columbia County, Oregon
beekeepers would like to say is that we'd like to support you in that. Please see us as a resource. And don't be afraid. I think that on the Parks Department, you guys can use all the help you can get, so.
Do you have contact information for how it's best to reach out?
You can reach me, Linda Zoll, and I'll leave that with you. Okay.
Linda, before you leave, I have a personal question here, and then
That one's for my next presentation. Great.
I know all these plants on the backside, but the mock orange, is that the one that they call Indian peach or Indian plum? It has little.
No, it is. Yeah, it actually smells like orange blossoms. It
What
is
does the mock
divine.
orange plant look like?
It's a native, Christine, can you tell us, what does mock orange look like? Yeah,
It's got a beautiful white.
It's a bush. It's kind of a bush.
White flowers, very fragrant.
When you walk by it, you know it. And it's native, but most people don't even know that we have this beautiful native plant. In fact, in this parcel that we want to talk to you later about acquiring for the city, there's some mock orange in there, and every time I walk by it in the spring, it's just amazing.
Also like flowering red currant.
Oh, yeah.
We put a lot of these in
Yeah.
Hill Nature Park.
Yeah.
Do you put the mock ones in there? Oh, really?
I think we do.
Well, you guys got the flowering currant. I don't know if you've got the mock orange up there.
I'm not sure.
But our native plant nursery, with the Soil and Water Conservation District and the Master Gardeners, they cultivate a mock orange and all these currants, and they're really at a reasonable price. I collect seeds and give it to them and all kinds of stuff, and then they cultivate it. And, you know, I think that's a resource. You guys might already be using them. I don't know.
So Linda, what do you envision your organization, the beekeepers, how do you envision them helping the Parks Commission?
I don't know yet. I think this is the beginning of a relationship. So I wanted to introduce
So do
that.
you guys have, like beehives that you keep?
Yes, we do. So in the future, we do have to change the city ordinances to match up with the state ordinances, because state ordinances allow beekeeping within all cities. And St. Helens still has an ordinance that says that it's not allowed. But as far as, you know, we feel that beekeepers should be the stewards of the native bees too.
So one of the things your organization, I'm just putting words in your mouth now, okay? So one of the things your organization would like to do is to plant more native plants that are attracted to bees.
Pollinating.
Pollinating plants, yes.
We want to make it clear, it's not just honeybees. There's about
Hummingbirds.
4,000 different species of pollinators in that.
I think there's
program.
200 different types of bees in Oregon, I think. So one of your goals then is to maybe purchase native plants and place them in like the botanical gardens in Dalton Lake and Nob Hill Park and those areas?
If that's the needs of the park, I think, the Parks Commission, you know, if you guys decide that there's a certain need and it's something you think that we might be able to help with, please let us know. And one thing that is really, I think, a passion is to get those pollinating trees in there. Because like I said, you can have 1,000 flowers and it's still not gonna equal one tree. And the flowers, people see the bees and they get all freaked out. Oh my gosh, there's bugs in my park. You get a tree and all those bugs are up there. You know, you get a tilia tree, you know, what do you call them? You know, that the bumblebees really like, that we had the big bee die-off a few years ago in Oregon. So what happened, we had those big bee die-offs because of pesticide use, incorrect pesticide use. And so our state legislature created a new position at OSU. And that position is for pollinator friendly actions. So Andoni fills that position. He works with pesticide applicators, he works with cities, he's come up with all kinds of trainings. But the other part of it is the native bees and how do we protect and promote them. And one of the biggest things, and if my, you know, here's the presentation, one of their biggest things, you know, we always think about pesticides, but right now one of the biggest problems is lack of forage. You know, if native bees only live for 6 weeks. It's not like our honeybees that live year-round. They live for 6 weeks, and if you don't have any plants anymore in a certain area that bloom or produce, you know, nectar or pollen during that 6-week period, those bees disappear.
Are you mainly, that those would be the mason bees a lot is what you're describing there? Is there other
Mason,
bees?
oh my gosh, you got Sarah. Oh, I should have brought my collection. Oh my gosh. Yeah, because we just finished our collection for 2019. And our team in Columbia County has collected several thousand bees. And so we've got Serratina bees and Melichili bees, and we've got, you know, of course, all kinds of bumblebees. And there are a lot of beautiful native bees that we have. We've got green bees, we've got gold bees, we've got big bees, we've got little tiny bees.
Tiny ones.
Yeah.
So I think there's 200 of them. Linda, one of the things that I'd like to challenge your organization with is we have a park that's called the St. Helens Botanical Gardens. And it's probably the least used park in the whole city. And we need to form a friends of that, but that's another story. We've worked on that, it didn't quite work out. But I'd like your organization to go take a look at botanical gardens, what we call the botanical gardens. And if you so choose, come back with us with some recommendations that you would like to do to that park, because it could definitely use more, you guys can take a look at it, and I'd like to see some more, plants, pollinating plants down there. And also, if you come back, you can bring your bee collection.
Okay.
John told me that he was real excited about,
Which John?
it's John, right? He told me he was really excited about seeing your bee collection.
I have hundreds of mason bees. I don't know what
You know, and,
Little houses for
and the
them.
amazing part about mason bees is like, there's so many of them. There are tiny ones, there are big ones, there are green ones, there's blue ones, there are brown ones, there are black ones. And most people, all they know is the blue mason bees. They don't even know that we have
I
these.
find
just wanna
gold-
say-
Pat, do you want to say something, Patrick?
I'm really glad that you came today, and you must know Lona Pierce.
Yes.
And Deborah Vermacombe.
Yes, yes.
Okay. I oversee Dalton Lake Nature Preserve, and they are on the advisory committee along with Paul and Patrick Berkeley. And so one of the things we've discussed already is getting more bees and bats in the area to take care of the mosquitoes, but also get more pollinators in there. So, and eventually we'll be taking people into the park, the preserve, and showing them the different flora that is in there that brings those pollinators.
And
So,
why?
Well,
Why are they there?
you will love our next two presentations. This is only the first, so.
Okay, what I'd ask you to do also, Linda, is, talk to Sherry and get on the agenda.
Okay.
Patrick, you want to make a comment?
Yeah, you had asked before if there's something else I wanted to say, and there was, but I didn't want to because it actually was concerning the botanical gardens. And so I'd love to work with Linda and the group because now that Lynn is doing such great work with Dalton Lake, and I had started to get involved with the botanical gardens folks,
So Patrick,
wanting to.
who are the botanical garden folks, Patrick?
Well, there was the woman who was
Okay.
trying to get the 401(c)(3). It was her, and I understand that they decided not to follow through with their.
If you decide to do that, contact me, because I have a
Yeah.
bunch of neighbors, Carmen, I'm putting words in Carmen's mouth. She wants to do it, I want to do it.
Didn't Ken Gordon say he had somebody else recently possibly coming?
Is
to the meeting
that,
about that?
is that it, Patrick?
That was it. Yeah.
Linda, are you done?
Yes, with this one, we are finished. And then I will go back to the floor and.
You again.
Nobody's, then I'll come back.
Okay, sounds good. I'm excited. No, I am, really. Look at the botanical gardens. Love to have some plants down there. I'm serious. Is there anyone else from the floor? Please state your name.
So now, wait a second, let's go together now.
Okay, all right.
Presentation number 2. So all of these are, we want it to be food for thought for you guys. Let you know how much we can assist with your goals.
Larissa Houston is my name. And first off, for lack of a actual official name, how many people are familiar with Liberty Hill? Liberty Hill.
Liberty Hill.
The cemetery is?
Do you have a slideshow?
Yeah, I do.
Do you have a thumb drive, or do you have it on here? Okay. Okay, sorry.
So I'm here representing a group of citizens from the area.
Here is a photo if you want to slide. This is just one photo. It's not the best. But.
I've done work, I've done volunteer efforts with Dalton Lake, Mountain Hill Nature Park, I know Howard. So I have lots of friends and family in the area, and so I find myself out here a lot. And I've always found this area to be really rich and interesting with the native plant life. And when I found out about the Liberty Hill area and started to become connected with some other people that have had concerns for this area for the last, it's been like going on like 20 years now. It's regarded as the last largest intact Janus meadow, probably in Oregon, if not beyond.
And this is by an OSU researcher. This is not just by me saying it or her saying it.
Yeah, yeah. So botanists have been up there, biologists, It's just amazing, and it has a lot of native plants that are not found anywhere in Columbia County. Some of them are, the next place they're found is up in the gorge. So it's
Do you know where
really
this
amazing
is?
area.
All of you know where it is? It's on Pittsburgh Road and Highway 30.
I know where it's at now,
It's
then.
the corner there.
Yeah,
So you can see the bluff up there of all the camas and
It's
this.
kind of behind the waterfall.
Detritus.
so there's Liberty Hill Road, which is what most people know from, Liberty Hill. Our focus right now is about the first half mile when you go up Pittsburgh Road. That's on the north side there. So there's a big salt bluff, there's a big meadow, and all along that eastern edge, that's about, it's over 20 acres. That's continuous camas bloom in April. And I've got some,
I have a picture of my dog up there a few years ago.
got some slides to show you.
Beautiful one.
So this is the area.
So much.
So, yes, it would be lovely to have this up on the screen.
Oh, look at that
It's not city limits, by the way.
screen.
It's in the urban growth boundary.
Part of it.
Half of it is.
Portion of it.
Third of it, yeah.
Great camas, normal camas. All.
So, the focus is the camas, and I know lots of people from the area visit it in April when it's in full bloom. I mean, you can see it from Highway
I'm
30.
gonna ask you a question. I was gonna wait till the end, but who owns that property?
Warehouser does.
Everything.
And we visited, Linda got permission for a bee study this past spring. And through her contacts with them, the property is regarded as open.
Scrub Oak, isn't it?
No, it's pretty open.
Yeah.
Right along a highway, that's just
The,
every time.
Behind the
Summer.
waterfall.
yeah,
Lives there.
the way we understand it, and this is through the Weyerhaeuser representative that Linda was in contact with. It's open, you can visit, but because Knife River Corporation has a 99-year lease on the property, if they decide that they have a problem with people going in there, then it's closed. So for now,
Did you say 99 years?
yeah.
When's it up?
Oh, this is,
So it's not in the city, is it?
a portion of it is.
A portion is urban growth boundary.
Yeah, it's
So-
not in the city limits, but there is a portion up there that's within the urban growth boundary.
Where is that portion?
If you look at the map up here, so this is my property, Barrack Lane. Look at that loopy road
8 feet
there.
tall, you could put it
Right
in,
from that point, straight across south is urban growth.
That's correct.
right over towards Lawrence Oil, kind of?
Yeah, it cuts across right up in here.
Right over, yeah.
So it's a
Taller
whole
people, that's great.
Chunk in here.
Can reach.
And so this brown part in here, this is all where there's a historic wagon road. The wagon road used to be the only route to the homesteads up there, and then the Masonic Cemetery, which is that way at the other end.
I just figured it was.
But yeah, this whole area, brown area, is camas. A very, very large camas field. So, I'm not really asking anything of the parks, but I'm more here with other, I mean, you guys
Raise
can
your hands.
raise your hands, and whoever is.
People who are interested in saying that this is a special piece of property.
And just to.
It is a legacy of our town. I feel that, if we, as a whole, realize how valuable it is, I think there's some things that we can do with Weyerhaeuser. But you know what? Columbia County doesn't recognize how valued it is. People from Portland are the ones who recognize how valuable it is. They're the people that drive miles out here when the camas blooms. I talk to other neighbors and stuff, they don't even know it's there. And I'm going, we got a problem here. So what really we want to do is to let you know it's there, let you know what we feel, and that we have resources. We have resources to do matching funds for grants, maybe state grants, to help in the process. I think just saying you guys acquire this land is kind of a little bit too much. But it's really something that needs to be acquired for the future. And I'm sorry if I've taken over here, but
So, yeah, just to reiterate what Linda said, just to know that there are people that are really concerned about this place. And right now, there's a, Knife River wants to mine 123 acres for basalt. So it's high-quality basalt, but as a lot of you probably know, basalt is not rare. It's a profit thing, as far as I can tell. Knife River's owned by MDU, which is in South Dakota or North Dakota. So
is this something that people could go and walk on like right now?
yeah, they can, yeah.
And this is something that you want to let people know about as well? Your contact info?
Yeah, I have a card.
this piece of property is pristine. When Weyerhaeuser logged it, so you can see it's been logged, the engineer recognized the value of the property. I worked with him closely. And he said, Linda, this is a piece of property that we don't see. It is so special. So he logged it by leaving and so that it can return to Oak Savannah. So he left all of the oak there. Those oak up there, they might be tiny, but some of them are 100 years old. And it creates this environment of these vernal ponds in the back, these vernal pools of basalt bottom. And they fill up this time of year, so they're all full if you go back there and walk. And then they slowly, because it's downhill, they flow from one pond to the next pond to the next pond, and then to these streams, and then to the waterfall. And it bathes over that camas. So if they mine the part that's not in the urban growth boundary above, whereas most of those vernal ponds are, will that camas field still exist? We don't know. Ideally, it would be lovely to acquire the whole parcel. And there have been words by George Weyerhaeuser saying that there are pieces of property that are not worth harvesting for resources because of the value of the land itself, of the beauty itself. Anyway, I'd like to kind of put that in your ear of a goal out there that would be a flagship. People, when those camas are in bloom, you can get, people want to see it if they know it's there. So is there anything else you wanted to add?
So,
And then I have a couple
what
letters.
is it that you want, so what would you like the Parks Commission to do? What do you see our role as?
Just support us and just, if you can, my main goal here is just to start a presence because, I haven't been to any council meetings before in regards to this concern. So just know that there are citizens out there, not just I and not even just these people behind me, that are really concerned for this area because you guys have.
You want us to spread the word to get people to come out and visit.
You guys we have a jewel. We really do.
No remediation needs to take place. No remediation. You barely need to take out any invasives. All the ponds are still in its pristine state. The pollution hasn't occurred. There's no pollution up there. It is in its pristine state. If we acquire this as a nature park, you really don't have to do any work to it. It's not like acquiring a piece of land that now needs to be rehabilitated. There's a big difference. And when we talk about wild and native life, we have bats up there, and there's so few bats left. But we still have bats in there. And it is a bat habitat.
A comment and a couple suggestions. One comment is I know when the city along Highway 30 put in the trees about 15 or 20 years ago, there was some camas along Highway 30 there. and they took and they scraped it all off,
Because they didn't know.
and they put bark dust up there.
I
And
know.
It was just, I almost cringe when I see that. It's just too bad that happened. I've been up there lots of times. It's one of my favorite pictures I've taken up there. It's beautiful, but my suggestion, and other people can make suggestions, one, is maybe you need to talk to something like the Nature Conservancy, or maybe talk to, Phil Knight, some people that, the Columbia Sporting Goods, people that, have money and that would be interested in doing that. And the other person is Jen Dimshow, Dimsho. She's on the city staff.
I talked to her about a year ago. And yeah, we've reached out to Nature Conservancy more than once because there have been people that have been trying to go to bat for this area for over 20 years. Ilona Pierce is one of them. Columbia Land Trust, we actually have a relationship with them now where they kind of started working with Weyerhaeuser, but it's the mining operations that are just really throwing a wrench in a lot of it. And even though, so this whole portion right here, as I discussed before, it's within the UGB, so it's not eligible for mining. They can't mine there unless the zoning changes.
Is that one area, the new subdivision, that Elk Ridge they put up there, or is that something
Back over.
farther up a little bit?
Top left is Elk Ridge.
So all this area down in here would be moved into Weyerhaeuser's development portfolio. So it could be developed. Another group member has talked to some of the biggest developers out here, or at least one of them, and they don't seem interested in it because it's so difficult. I mean, the topsoils up there are about this thick. I mean,
or less.
A lot of St. Helens is like that.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think it
it's
would be-
expensive.
I think it would be a crime to have that area destroyed. That's my opinion. But I think, again, this is my opinion, you guys are gonna probably have to deal with other organizations other than the city, because I don't see the city, you're gonna have to deal with the city administration and with other organizations, I think.
Yeah.
And I think that should be there forever.
So
Should be.
It will have to be a multi-organizational project. But what would be nice in the end is if it is accepted as a nature park from the city. Because right now, let me tell you, we've got two nature conservancies that if this ever goes in the market, they will buy it. But the public is not going to be allowed in it. Do you want that? No, I would really like to see the city or the county acquire it. But yes, if that goes on the market, we have two organizations that I think will acquire it. So I don't think, money is not the issue right now. The issue is who's going to administrate it. And if a city or county is not willing to do it, then it will go into conservancy.
What about state
That's very
parks?
different.
I know we've tried once with state parks, but I wonder if we need to try to do a bigger push to try to get state parks.
That might be interesting.
Good
I know
idea.
Caroline got it on there once, but it made the short list, long list.
That's a good idea, Howie.
But it needs to have more publicity and more people be interested in it. Maybe we can get it to come up higher on that list also.
Maybe the county.
Yeah.
so this
Yeah,
is
we're also
just.
gonna talk to the
I'd
parents.
kind of like
We're also gonna talk
to move the meeting along here a little bit.
I have a couple
To
of
reiterate, just,
But I don't want to cut you too short.
yeah, just letting it
What you want to say?
just, again, letting people know that we're here and that we're going to bat for this plate. It's a pretty daunting task, but it's totally worth saving.
It is.
And just finally, I mean, this is pie in the sky, way down the road. The plants up there, and especially the camas. And you guys already have Halloween Town that brings in a lot of money. This is like Columbia County Super Bloom. People will come here. You guys could have a camas festival. I mean, you could. Sure.
It's gorgeous.
And there are people, I know there are people that want to go up there and study the plants. Anyway, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're going to try to move the meeting along here a little bit quicker. Is there anyone else from the floor that wants to talk?
Okay, it's the last one, and this one should go fast. So, my husband and I own a piece of property up there. Here, let me just give you some slides here. Let's see here, there's one there. And you guys get the nicer one. You can see up here. So, my husband and I own this piece of property right here, and that we're Twin Berry homes. And we have to develop it in conjunction with Elk Ridge to the north and Stunky Drive to the south. And yeah, this is Eric. And if you noticed right here, I'm short, sorry, but there's a green blob right there.
A stand of trees.
It's a beautiful stand of trees. And so, you know, as what we'd like to do is to make that into a pocket park. So if you go on to the next slide, this is our preliminary plat. And again, you can see where that pocket park would be.
Not really. Oh, yeah, you can, okay.
Yeah, it's a gray area there.
It's gray, but it's
a
over
gray.
the trees. We're trying to preserve some of the older trees.
Yeah, so it preserved those older trees. If you could go to the next slide. You know, what is the need? I was looking at your parks plan for the city, and it does mention pocket parks. I don't know what's been added since this plan was enacted, but you know, it's in your city plan that within a half a mile, people should be able to walk to a park. So if you go to the next slide. And if you see, places in red are residential areas that do not have a park within a half a mile.
Linda, I'm going to stop you right there. I don't know where you're talking about.
Okay.
But I knew St. Helens
So,
pretty well.
I'm sorry, Pittsburgh Road is this right here.
Okay.
That's Hankey Road going up there.
Okay.
That's Elk Ridge up all in red.
Red, know that, okay.
Yeah.
And the Twin Berry is the little white in between the red and the
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
Is that inside the city limits or urban growth?
It is,
now.
and we are in the city limits now. Now, Twin Berry is also city limits now, too. So, if you can go to the next slide. Again, this is talking about in your 2016 plan, the projection for 2020 at the population, that we'd need actually 2.5 acres of pocket parks. I don't know how many you have right now. You know?
Civic Pride Park and Walnut Tree Park, so.
Yeah, so you haven't added any more. So we're needing still 2.5 acres of parks. And go to the next slide. And then this is from the Oregon Outdoor Recreation Demand Analysis of the state. And it's interesting when it asked the public, what are you wanting in a park, wanting and needing? This is in the order of wants. And on number 4 there's children's play areas made of natural areas. That's what I love about how you guys are going to develop Godfrey Park with natural play areas, rocks and logs and things like that. And another is picnic areas for small visitors and off-dog leash. All of those are in the top 10.
Off-dog leash?
I'm not sure, I'm sorry, off-leash dog, yeah, there you go. Which is another issue. Yeah. Which is another issue that's another possibility of us donating. But, okay, if you can go to the next slide. These are just from the different positions. This is from the south, that grove of trees looking north. Keep going to the next one. This is another angle. Keep going. And keep going. Keep going. And this is the last thing that I wanted you to look at. This is my big plan. Okay. I am just way too short. Does anybody have a pointer? Even a pen? Oh, here we go. Okay, this will work. Okay, so way up there, see it says St. Helens Elks Lodge. Okay, right up there is Dalton Lake, and it's the river. One of the state goals is our river trails, you know, in the trails plan, that we need more river trails. Okay, so people will come on their their boats from Portland, kayak or whatever, and if we had a way for them to dock there, we already have a trail coming all the way up here to like the middle school, basically. If we can add, I'm looking at the future, man. We can add a trail that either goes up Liberty Hill Road. I mean, it's a beautiful country road to walk up. You can access this property from the north if we acquired the whole thing, right? Or we could create a trail that goes further south and maybe accesses it from Pittsburgh Road or another source. And what a wonderful day getaway. People can take their boats out, they can take a hike, they can see the camas in bloom, or just take a great nature walk. There's great birding in there. We have amphibians. We have, we have rubber boas. Yes, skinks and all kinds of neat little amphibians there. And then we've got our. We can have a play area for the kids. We got our pocket park. But the whole thing is that we've got a flow here. One of the state goals are trails that connect. They're not interested right now in just creating a trail for a trail's sake.
Who owns that area where the pocket park is, right? Or where you'd like it?
We do.
Yeah, our house is there, that's within, but we're interested in developing it within the urban growth.
Now, above us will be 200 houses. Below us is what, 40 houses? How many houses are in your neighborhood?
I'm not sure, actually. It's around 30 or 40.
Yeah.
It's 42.
42 houses. Those developers never thought of putting anything in for the public, you know, a park. And I think it would just be really nice to have one there, but we'd like to have the city or the Parks Department take that over. And then also that would qualify it to get, grants, the park grants. And
So you donate it to the city or something and? Okay.
The full disclosure is like in our approaching the city, and Sue knows because she's been involved in our development stuff. You know, we're presenting it as like an HOA private park. But what we'd really like, I mean, what we think makes sense, as Linda kind of researched it more, is like, well, we need a park in that area, but.
Yeah, guys, we do kind of need to move on. I don't think this is quite appropriate for this. I mean, I think your idea is fantastic. I think everyone thinks, but, maybe come back with the size of the park, what the park's gonna look like, and that sort of thing, and then we can discuss it, get on the agenda and, come up with some, what you consider hard plans for it. And we can discuss it, and if we vote on it, we're an advisory group, and then it can be forwarded to the city council. I can't imagine the city turning down a free pocket park.
oh, they already have.
Down?
They already have.
Is it because of, okay, never mind. Probably because of maintenance.
This is something that needs to go to the planning commission before it's ever considered.
Okay, so then,
So
you're working with the city to go through the proper bureaucratic steps.
But I want to let you know what potential is there. If you guys don't even know what potential is there, how can you plan for the future?
No, I think this is good.
We can only make recommendations here, so.
And that's fine.
Who's gonna maintain it? How
Well,
many people do we have?
Yeah, let's just.
I know, this is a problem. And that's what I want to say.
Hold it.
Yeah.
Time, we're gonna come back at another time, and I'm not trying to be rude here.
I understand.
I just think that there needs to be a lot of behind-the-scenes work done on this, and, talking to the city and da-da-da-da-da. We've been trying to get an urban trail for 2 years, and it's slowly coming together, but it's a very slow process. But so thank you very much, Linda. And next time you come, bring your bee collection and
Get on the agenda.
and get on the agenda and let us know.
Yeah, I tried to get on the agenda, and I think I called the wrong person. I didn't get a call back, so I'll do that correctly this next time.
And like I say, I'd like to challenge your organization to do some work there, planting plants or at the St. Helens Botanical Gardens.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that's not on the agenda that wants to talk?
This lady over here.
All right.
Jerry, this lady over here.
I don't know if you, I'm not sure.
Move up to the table, state your name. You don't have to give your address or phone number.
Right.
So we can, you still live in the same place?
I do, and I stumbled into this, so I'm sorry, I'm not
Name?
prepared at all. My name is Allison Charbonneau. I live at 58833 Moore Drive in St. Helens.
You don't need to give your.
Okay, well, that's where I live. You.
I know where you live.
I know. I don't think this is appropriate because I wasn't on the agenda, but another thing to consider when I was on the planning commission, I was working on it to teach, is connecting McCormick Park to Scappoose Bay. There are only 5 landowners between those two, and there's a beautiful greenway along
We have discussed that numerous times in here. We have an urban trail that we've been working on, and then that's kind of the second trail that we've been talking about. We haven't really got any details on that. The person that really wants to see that happen, I think we all want to see it happen, but Doug Morton, who's on the city council.
We started it, Billy's, and we started when we were on the planning commission, and then it was sort of.
You gotta stay with it. It's you know, everyone that's in the audience there, you guys been around for a while. I can see a lot of gray hair out there. But,
Hush.
you know, anytime you.
Sometime.
At least they have air.
I didn't say nothing.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I don't, and I'm not sure this is the right place, but I hate to see what I see from Portland is, 26 is filled up, 5 is filled up. We are a place that has access to, we're incredible natural resources, and I hate to see them go to big box stores, which obviously you guys do too, or you wouldn't be on the committee. But anyway, I think we need to say now is the time.
I think it's a good plan to connect with I don't know what else to call it, but the Crown Sea Trail that goes to Vernonia, and then up north, go all the way up to the Trojan.
And I don't know how to go about this, but I was on the Crown Sea roundtable when that was decided, and they brought all kinds of resources in, and then Tony Hyde was the one that was really facilitating it. And I don't know if your group or who can bring all these various people in and facilitate it if they aren't part of the county government. Can a local person get that kind of clout to bring a roundtable in for like Liberty Hill or something? Pardon?
Betsy Johnson.
Yeah, Betsy might be the one. But you need enough clout that you can get people to buy in and do that. And Liberty Hill needs that. The greenway along Middle Street. We really do it right now before things develop. And as a citizen that's overworked, I'm not sure that I'm the person that can bring those people in. But it's definitely something to think of because I hate to see it go. Because then you can't walk.
I see you again, Allison. Haven't seen you for a while.
I know.
Okay, we're gonna move on here. We'll skip number 4, Counselor's Report. If you guys wanna leave, you can leave now. Or you're more than welcome to stay.
This is the biggest group we've about ever had. I didn't bring it.
Y'all.
Oh, no.
Way to go, Jerry.
Scared him away. Jeez. Patrick's Day.
For a while.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, I have to experience that.
You want to elect office? Yeah, that's what's next. I know I'm recording it, John. Yeah.
It's not gonna be a game.
I forgot to.
It's not gonna be a game.
I think it's gonna be a game.
I think LSU is gonna destroy them.
I don't think so. How many points you gonna give me?
I don't even know what state Clemson's from.
I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna throw this out there. I'm gonna say LSU.
Okay, we're gonna skip number 4 now, and we're gonna move along to number 5, new business. And we're gonna elect officers. I don't really know how to do this exactly, but Carmen is the vice chair, and what we've always done in the past. I guess we have to vote for her to be chairman. So someone wanna make a motion?
Take nomination.
Nominate.
Nominations for.
Carmen is the next chair of the Parks Commission.
Second.
All those in favor?
You gotta say, are there any other nominations?
Are there any other nominations? Thanks. Okay.
And then you gotta make it a motion.
Yeah, someone needs to make that a motion.
Okay.
Making a motion that we elect her as the chair.
All those in favor?
I need a
Second.
second.
I was gonna move nominations be closed, but that's okay.
Vice chairman, okay, is open for nominations for vice chairman.
So we usually go with somebody who hasn't done it.
Make a nomination.
I nominate Lisa.
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Are there any other ones?
Who made the
I
motion?
move nominations.
Jacob did.
Who seconded?
Okay, all those in
Really have this
favor
down, does he?
of Lisa being next year's vice chair?
Aye.
Who seconded? John, thank you. You guys are faster than I am.
And it was unanimous.
Okay, we're gonna move along. Are we done, Sherry? Good? Okay, thanks. Good. Okay, so now we're gonna move along to 5B. Walter, come forward, Walter, and give us your name and,
Walter Fowler. Did you want an address or anything?
we got it.
Everybody else did.
We got it here. We even have your phone number.
You have your vital statistics
Yeah, we got it here.
somewhere.
So you applied for the Park Commission.
I did. I applied for a few.
Okay.
There was one.
My question I have for you, what could you bring to the parks? What benefits could you bring? What is your goals? What are your ambitions for
Science. For parks specifically?
Yes.
Uh,
Or parks or trails?
to be quite honest, I've just kind of been looking to get more involved in the community. So it seemed like a good way to do it. Meet more people, get kind of get a feel for all this kind of procedure, everything. I'm not too terribly familiar with it. I spent a lot of time wandering around the parks, I know that much.
Well, we are considered the cool kids, so.
Okay.
Just to throw that out there.
Okay.
Can I ask my question?
Yes.
Yes. What is your favorite park?
Me?
Why?
The name. So the skate park, I spent a lot of time there wandering around. Mostly just because it's peaceful. Then there's the dog park out, is it along Sykes Road, I believe. I spent a lot of time out there, mostly just because it's peaceful. Not a lot of people. When people are there, they tend to keep to themselves, and I pretty much just enjoy going out there with listening to music, headphones, wandering around. Take pictures.
That's what we want. Our goal is to get these parks filled. We want these parks filled all the time. We want kids and parents and people from all over to come to our parks and say, wow, these parks are cool.
I know one thing, at least with a lot of the people that I know that brought them in, was like, you probably are all familiar with it now, like Pokemon Go and everything. That's brought a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
Any landmark, any church is one of those stops, and that's gotten people out there all the time. Other than that,
I think all of us, so we all have specific parks that we kind of oversee and stuff. So it's like we get new people into these parks. We want you into the parks, but we want to know, like, okay, why? What brings you to the Parks Commission? You know, what can you do to help us with these parks? That's why I was asking the questions I was asking.
other than that, I suppose because I have a lot more, maybe I have a lot of time on my hands. That's mainly it. I have a lot to do. I don't have as much to do. I have a lot of free time. I'm a student. I just do school and I just do this. So
Do you plan to, I know that you're in school pursuing a bachelor's, do you plan to stay in the area? Or do you have plans to move out? It's a 4-year term on the Parks Commission, so.
I'll probably be here well beyond that. My degree isn't going to be finished until probably about the end of this year, and then I still need to find work. I just got married, so we're looking to.
No problems meeting a 4 o'clock meeting?
Oh, no. I don't know, we're looking to settle down. It's always been, well, we've only been living here for, what, 3-4 years. Prior to that, we spent a lot of time just commuting back and forth, and we always have a lot of fun in this town.
It's a cool town.
It's pretty lively. It gets, especially around Halloween, obviously, but that's always fun.
I was looking on here, Walter, I'm very familiar with, Central City Concern. What's the kitchen at CM?
That is where I've known her for like over 10 years. We've worked together. We've gone to school together. We at one point lived together. But she works in the kitchen at Clatsop Memorial Hospital is what it is. Columbia Memorial Hospital, not Clatsop. Back in Astoria.
It's in Astoria?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where she works. Central City Concern is where another person I've worked with, gone to school with for a long time, worked. They can speak more to how I am as a person and how I am professionally, I suppose. The third one I have on there is.
Roommate.
Oh, yeah, he's looking to be a police officer in the area.
So I think this question's already been asked. So what do you see that you bring to the Parks Commission?
I suppose when I'm given a specific task, I tend to focus on it really heavily. That's sort of been my career in mind, has been research. So when I get a topic, I tend to focus on it, like without any other thing, like blinders.
I got you.
Yeah. So I'm better at that, I think. That's what I bring. Other than that,
Is there anything that you want to, do you have like 2 or 3 things you would like to see happen to the city parks?
I suppose they could use more lighting in some of the areas. Specifically, I would look for more features, just because that's one of the things that bring a lot of the younger people out.
And when you say features, be a little more specific.
One of the parks I mentioned that had like has the skate park and everything next to it. It's closer to the library.
That's McCormick.
Okay, McCormick.
That's one of our biggest parks.
Yeah, that's the one. That's one of the only ones I can think of off the top of my head that has a lot of the play structures on them. Then there's the other one that's over by, what is it? It's associated with CCMH, and it's kind of like a rehab facility. It has like the horseshoe statue.
Yeah, the horseshoe park.
Yeah, of course it is. It has some features, but it's not too terribly well lit. Other than that, I'm just trying to think of things that I would want to do and that I like to do as a kid. And
Right.
There are a lot of things that are definitely more interesting to people who are already established, like people that already have families and dogs and day-to-day lives that they did tend to go and just escape from. But a lot of people my age, where you're going, or not my age, younger than me now, I guess I'm closer to 30 now, they go out there and they just try and, I don't know, just enjoy themselves a little more. There are people that are trying to get back out there and enjoy it rather than being attached to our cell phones, but it's kind of harder. Technology is a lot more accessible now, and so there are people that are trying to get out there, but without things out there to go to, they kind of
Like what I was saying, we all have our like kind of specific things. Like I'm more sports oriented. She's dog oriented. She's working in Dalton Lake. He's got Navajo Nature. He's like the botanical and trails, and so we all have something that we're all. That's what makes us all work together to get all this stuff.
I suppose it would be science. Heavily, I'm very into biology. I know a lot about biology, but it's mostly cellular biology.
But could you see yourself fitting in with this group? Working together with us all and everybody
so.
and get along. And
I enjoy the energy, especially of tonight, but it sounded like people. Is it irregular? Is it usually more calm?
usually it's just us, and we're.
Oh.
We've ever had it here. We have an agenda we
This sounded
discuss.
more
Jerry.
I heard the voices.
When we've had 2 applicants, we
So it's just like I said, we're the cool kids.
That might be one thing I can bring, is I know a lot of people that are newer to the area that would like to be more.
That's what we need.
Just one this time. Last time.
Remember, I think it was last year, they had like this, I don't know if it was citywide or countywide, there were people coming in to give like a pitch to win like a certain amount of money. I don't know if it was the government.
I don't. There you go.
There was like a pizza company, there was a friend of mine who was getting together with a bunch of the moms, they were trying to start like a community, like swap sort of thing, and place, like play area for the kids, dig area.
Yeah,
She has kids and
That's
everything.
things we've been talking about.
They've
too.
been trying to get way more involved, and they're looking for.
So what we're gonna do here now is, we will vote on it next meeting. That's what we did at the time before. Gives us a little time to think about it, and you can come back to the next meeting. And if you want to say some things then, Carmen will be running the meeting, so she can do what she wants to do. But and I assume we'll be discussing it next meeting and voting on it next meeting.
All righty.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay. You're next, aren't you? Howard? Number 5C.
Yeah.
Okay, 5C, park entrances and tree removal.
Yep, yep. Also, you can see the map there. Also, I want to bring to your attention this other sheet that talks about responsibilities, powers, and duties. I don't know if a lot of us have read it, but a lot of it says that, what the most important part, operation, planning, development, improvement, beautification, equipment, maintenance of public parks, trails, public bicycle, pedestrian ways, vacant park properties, public squares, public recreational facilities, and publicly accessible buildings associated and grounds. The Parks Commission shall have authority. And then it also goes down to say including but not limited to access roads, equipment, athletic fields. So I don't know if a lot of us have ever really read a lot of that to see also parking areas. That then kind of goes into the questioning that I've got is that we've been having some interesting comments about the entrance to Nob Hill Nature Park up there, that the old Plymouth Street right-of-way is in that area, and I keep having a neighbor that keeps throwing it at me that that is the old Plymouth Street, and so that's different than our park.
Well, this has
But as you can see by the map Jacob has provided us, really, that is considered part of the park. Recently, we had some trees that were cut down by power lines. I thought it was going to be great to have those left behind, and because that area we've been, ever since we've started the park, we've been doing restoration work in that area, getting rid of invasives. And I was looking forward to seeing some of these chunks of wood get left behind because they're habitat for other things, salamanders and other things that live underneath them. And then I was very surprised. I don't know if a lot of you know, the city has a permit system that allows people to get permits to go cut down or cut up trees that have fallen in the park. And so I was very surprised when my neighbor quickly ran down to get that permit. And the things that I was hoping were going to get left behind weren't. And once again, I'm told by my neighbor, this is the old Plymouth Street right-of-way. It's different than your park. What that leads to is that in a bunch of that area, we've been picking up a lot of daffodils that people are planting in our park now. Last year it was very insulting to me to have a lady standing at the entrance to the nature park at my street and start telling me what beautiful wildflowers are there. And it's all grape hyacinths and daffodils at the entrance to the park. And so eventually these are going to naturalize, take over the areas that we've been working on to try to plant back, as the other lady was talking about, the natives, the things for the pollinators and all these other things, that eventually I'm going to be wanting to get rid of these. And we need to start thinking a little bit more in our nature parks about keeping them nature, leaving some of the fallen wood behind. I realize that some of the parks, maybe it is a danger, maybe that piece of wood does have to be taken away, but we need to put more priority into looking at leaving things behind sometimes in the park that helps rejuvenate soils, provides habitat to many different species,
Where do those requests go? You said that for the wood from the.
For the
fallen
wood,
trees?
well, that's where it got really wild that day. I called up Jacob, I called up 2 or 3 people, and then the person, I hate to say, ran quickly to Thad or Sue and got the permit.
I don't have anything to do with the permits, I don't see them.
So I was just very surprised suddenly he acted quicker than I did.
I was just curious what process that goes through, like what approval process does it go to?
I'm not really, is it just the city can decide whatever is in a city piece of property to give it away?
We issue a wood permit.
You can go this way and this way. yeah.
Most of it is just for McCormick Park. We take the wood from wherever it came down and we take it to McCormick Park.
But I mean, it's
Come and cut it up.
circles.
The community service, they can come get firewood.
maybe once the old.
If they get the permit, because we need that, just like a volunteer form, for the permit. Now, if it falls right next to somebody's house and the guy comes out and says, well, can I have the wood? We usually give them the wood because it saves us tons of time, tons of money, haul it off. And then they go over, because we haul it off to McCormick, then they have to go over and cut it up. Or if they just get the permit and they cut it up right there, that's fine. Just more common sense, common courtesy.
Because what confused me on this is that you've got the old Plymouth Street right-of-way there, and then somebody could start trying to use the same excuse to come down where the 3rd Street was, where 4th Street was, or 5th Street. So that's my concern. You know,
Howard, they still have to get a wood permit, and then it has to be okayed by me or someone before they can go in there and cut anything.
Oh yeah, but
That can't just be done. I don't care if it's right away or not. This is a city property, and they can't do anything on city property without permission.
I know, but I'm here with the Parks Commission to say that in our nature parks, we'd really like that stuff to stay behind.
Well, and in this case, there was a log underneath the utility easement that the utility company cut down. Now, we don't want a log sitting underneath their wire, so when they come in there with equipment to work on stuff, they can't get to it. That needed to go out no matter what.
Well, you can't drive into there anyways.
Well, if we had to. If we have to go in and remove a log, we're not doing it by hand. We'll be doing it with a backhoe. And they will.
Even though we have a planting area there.
They will be doing it too. It was the utility company did it, and the bottom line is that Howard is having a feud with his neighbor, and that's what this is all about.
Well, and that's why I brought it to the Parks Commission, because this is actually part of the park, and if we're responsible for these areas, I think the Parks Commission and friends groups deserve the right to know about things like that before they're taken away, so we can have input.
So you said the log that was down was blocking the utility?
Utility company cut it to clear the wires, and they put it right, it was right below their power lines on their easement.
And it was not in
Somebody asked for it because it was not in the ground.
in the way. One man's determination. It was a perfect area for a log to be left.
So anyway, this is.
I mean, so then my next question would be is, how do we deal with, since I'm told this is the Plymouth Street right-of-way and then it's different, how can we deal with the non-native plants that are starting to pop up in that area? That's my first question. Because I feel like I'm getting shut down here. This is the old
I feel
Plymouth
like
Street
there's two
right-of-way.
different
So
things.
how do we deal with the invasive non-native
The
plant?
street has to do with any of it, though. 'Cause the issue is the tree, someone took a tree that you wanted to stay there, and
Yeah.
the plants are being planted, but I don't
Yeah.
understand what that has to do with any of the street.
Because we're constantly told in that area that that is the old Plymouth Street right-of-way.
But I
And it
just
should
don't
be
get what that
treated
has to do.
differently than the nature park.
How should it be treated
It sounds like the
differently is
rules are the
question.
same within a park and
What's different?
along the street.
What's different in the way it's
Well,
treated?
according to my neighbor,
I don't care about your neighbor.
It doesn't matter
Yeah,
about the neighbor.
neighbor.
I
And
think
nobody's
this is
standing
about
up
a
for me,
broad-
is what-
It's
yeah.
not about standing up for you, Howard. I think it's about determining, okay, if on Nob Hill, if a tree falls or a tree gets taken down, we want it to stay. If it's safe for it to stay.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Then I think that's the recommendation that we make to the city, that we would request if a tree falls in an area where it can
was cut-
stay and it's not in the
was
way.
perfect. Well, then that whole planting area shouldn't even be there because it's underneath the power lines.
So here's what,
I don't know.
here's,
I
I
don't
agree
know.
with.
And all
I
our
agree with-
restoration work
okay.
shouldn't be going there.
Here's what I think. First of all, I agree with Carmen that, you know, if a tree falls down in the park, they should let the friends know. Whether it's Dalton Lake or Columbia Botanical Gardens, if you don't have a friends or yours, they should be known that it falls down. And then you guys can make a recommendation to Thad, you know, to see what happens. The other thing is, as far as these illegal plantings, is, as we've stated before, people cannot do things in a park unless they have approval from Thad. So, let me finish, Jacob, real quick. So, if someone's going into the park planting things that are illegal, then I think that has the option of saying that those can be removed because they've been planted there illegally. And if it's in a nature park, whether it's Columbia Botanical Gardens, or Dalton Lake, or Nob Hill Park, which is all nature areas, then I think that the city has the right, I could be wrong, I'm not an attorney, has the right to take those out, because we do not want those types of plants in our nature parks. So there's two issues here. One is the tree, and I'll let Carmen talk about that, but I think as far as the illegal planting of flowers, that, you know, you bring that to Thad, and then Thad makes the decision on what's gonna happen, and I don't think you should take them out, because remember when we did the parking area there, we had the
No,
fight?
I was thinking we needed to have something like the people that maintain one of our planting areas, like at McCormick Park or something, take it out so that they could be replanted in a more appropriate city park.
Okay. So anyway, my recommendation is that you take it to Thad, Thad looks at it, and if it's in a nature park, maybe we should pass a motion that we, you know, if you want to, that people cannot plant plants in they cannot plant plants in a park without having permission from the city parks. If we want to make a motion, it's probably already there. And as far as the tree is concerned, I'm not real sure how we want to handle that.
Yeah, I feel like it's just a matter of stating that if a tree falls in the park, in Nob Hill Nature Park specifically, then we don't want it removed unless it's in a place that's a hazard, or if the city is gonna have to cut it up to remove it anyways, then we might as well allow a wood permit. If they're not gonna have to, then just let it lay.
That's what it sounded like. It was on.
It sounds like
I
that's
would
the
really argue
standard.
if that
Yeah.
was
What's the situation?
And my question is, have you actually witnessed people planting dandelions in the park?
I was curious about that too.
Because if they are, they're planting them in my yard too, and I want them removed.
No.
You get daffodils, not dandelions.
I thought you said dandelions.
Who's planting the
There's a
mold?
difference.
I thought you said dandelions. I was like, really?
Okay, we're gonna move on.
Okay.
So,
Daffodils and walnut tree.
so Howard,
Irises in my
you're
yard.
going, if people are planting things there that you don't want there, non-native,
Okay,
you're gonna talk to Thad,
okay,
and that's gonna be taken care of. The tree,
okay.
I feel like there's nothing that can be done about it now.
No,
I think
no,
now
but
that
there's
you've
no-
stated that you want the tree to stay,
Yes.
if it falls in a safe place, then I think.
Well,
so
that's why I was
before,
just-
if it's in a nature park, well, I guess it would only apply, it wouldn't apply to Columbia Botanical Gardens, because we don't have a Friends there anymore, but we hopefully might one of these days. That if it falls in Nob Hill Park, or if it falls in Dalton Lake Nature Preserve, is that what we're calling it? Okay, then before Thad issues a wood harvesting permit, he will talk to the Friends first.
Okay.
Do we need a motion to that, or gentleman's agreement?
Clear something up.
I don't know if we could do
Very,
that.
very rarely do we let people cut up in the park. That's not,
Pull it out and
it
take it.
usually ends up at McCormick Park in the wood pile, 99% of the time. Unless it's like a tree that fell in somebody's front yard, or is right by somebody's house that wants the firewood.
So the recommendation would be that we just leave it, we don't even pull it to McCormick if it falls in one of those parks.
Okay, thought this was gonna be a short meeting tonight.
Thank you.
Okay, Carmen, 5D, she's gonna talk about Civic Pride
Pride
Park.
Park.
Report, and before we move on, so who's next week for our parks report?
Next month.
Next month?
Down to
Who-
weekly meetings.
Next month,
The
Hey, just
oldest
to keep
one
you
on
in
the
here.
list was, that hasn't been done for 2 years, would be Jake in McCormick Park. You wanna do that next month?
McCormick again.
okay, Jake, next week, that's yours.
Month.
Next month. It's been a long day for me.
Jerry, I'm not gonna be here next week.
It's gonna be a long, it's been a long day for me, and I'm getting old, okay.
I'm gonna be here
Okay,
tonight.
Carmen, go ahead, go for it.
Okay, so Civic Pride Park is a pocket park, and there really isn't a lot there. It's a pretty simple
It's
park.
a teeter-totter?
Nope, there's park
Okay.
benches and a small path, that's about it for the park, so I think there's a lot of room for growth. It is our park with the lowest visitation based on the, survey in the master plan, which is
Really?
not
Civic
shocking,
Pride?
I don't think, yeah, the one by the pool, cause there's not really anything there. But it's a great location. It's a perfect location because it's by the school and it's by the pool. And we do have improvements that are in the master plan, but they're all priority level 3. So my hope is that in the following year, next year, budgeting, we can try to get some movement in some of the things that are on the improvements. The improvements listed are the full-size splash pad, 2 restrooms, a sprinkler system, and playground equipment. So that's what's in the master plan. What else was I gonna say? Oh, for the low visitation, I think that the future improvements are perfect for that because playground equipment, splash pad, and restrooms are all in the surveys. Those are the amenities and importance pieces that were kind of the highest rated. So I think if we can get some of that done, then we will be able to boost visitation of Civic Pride Park and actually make that area more useful. Because I think it has a lot of potential. It's just kind of underutilized. I was gonna write that down. It's not very big, but I mean, it's decent. I feel like it's decent size.
You know, there's some of the.
It is 1.2 acres. So
Yeah, but look at
the
one of the
only other
views.
pocket park we have is Walnut Tree, which is much
And
smaller than that.
One of the views you have from that park, though, is the can machine at the Red Apple. So it's, why would, hey, yeah, that looks awesome.
But I can see it.
It's a good spot because it's right by the school and it's right by the pool. So
Everybody goes to the pool, and they have that big field on the other side of the pool that belongs to the school that everybody goes to.
yeah, but if
But
we had
I can
amenities
see people
in the
using
park,
Yeah, if we put stuff there, yeah.
If it had stuff there, I could see people using it, especially in the summertime when the pool.
Well,
Yeah.
they used to.
you don't want to pay for the pool.
In the 19,
That's up.
I think that would be an ideal location for a sport court.
for what?
A multi-sport court. You know, where it's tennis, it's basketball, all in one, everything.
Oh, yeah.
In one, just in one, and it's not gonna take up a whole lot of space, and we bring that park back to life.
How much room does a sport court?
Depends on how big you wanna make it.
But if you could put like tennis
Like, do you
courts in
think there would be room for that and the splash park?
Oh, yes, absolutely. You're just
How
talking,
much do those
you're just
cost?
talking basically
A lot.
the basketball. It's well over 100,000.
The only thing about a basketball court, though, is you have the one right there at Lewis and Clark.
You know, we
Tennis
This is
court
multi,
would be-
it's
historically,
but that's not always accessible.
Civic Pride Park was developed around 1956
Master
by the
plan
St. Helens Garden Club.
Is that just the ongoing thing that we want to see added?
Because of it.
Oh, really? That's
They're filled.
I'm gonna have to look it up. What year did you say?
I think it was about 56.
Access to
The
everything.
St. Helens Garden Club took over that park and put all these flowers and stuff in. And then I think they did some other stuff around the rest of the city too. And they became, I don't remember the exact title, but it was one of America's great little cities or something like that. Huh?
Yeah, there's a sign on Highway
The
30
sign at the
still up there that says.
1954?
That's about the
In the
Civic Pride.
in the mid-50s.
1954.
It could have been 54, it could have been 56.
It's on the sign.
Might have been 55.
I can try and get some information for you because we have the St. Helens Garden Club too.
Oh, cool.
54
That would be
Lincoln.
awesome.
John, you remember when we had the Porta Fun there?
Yeah, I do.
You know, crazy. that
Yeah,
used to
right
be.
behind the Red Apple.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And then I took it over the next year. We moved it downtown. 5 years.
Somebody here did it now.
I just wanna hear what, I know you don't.
And we used the money we made in the beer garden.
That was the best time.
Sea Hall.
Okay, let's let Carmen finish her report.
That, I mean, there's not a lot, that's pretty much it, cause there's nothing in the budget for it, so there's
It's gonna
nothing
be
we can
halftime by the
do
time
right
John and I
now,
get home
but
for the national
Sorry,
I don't know
playoff.
about you, but I have about 6
You're
minutes
the
for
one
me
who let the visitor comment so long.
from somewhere.
Yeah, so I just,
Carmen wants to wrap up her report.
I'm just saying we should think about it for the next budget round, so I would like to try to get improvements in eventually, whether it's looking for grants or
We need to
actually
put it in
getting
the
them.
master plan, I think, and that's.
It's in the master plan.
Okay,
Just phase
number
3.
6, old business. One of the things that we have ongoing, that Sherry's keeping track of, is there things that we want to add to the master plan list?
Yeah,
And if you have anything you want to add to it, well,
We have-
say it, and then Sherry just kind of adds it to it.
I think we can do that next meeting.
And Sherry, I also think that it would be nice if maybe, you know, you gave us, I know this is more work for you, gave us a handout, just a sheet that has, you know, master plan lists that we could kind of look at to see, you know, oh yeah, we talked about this, we talked about, I know it's an issue of money. If we had money, we could do a lot of things. So does anyone have anything they would like to add to the master plan list?
Right now?
Just in general.
Well, you're just gonna say it, yeah.
Running list.
It's just a running list.
I know that I need to be thinking about this and add that to the master plan list, but I will not be here next month. I'll be down in Arizona, Mexico.
Enjoying the sun.
Mexico Friday.
And so I will let Sherry know if I want something presented for the next meeting, if you're gonna do that.
I don't think we even present it, do we?
No, it's
we
just
it's-
suggestions.
It's just added, and I would like to see Sherry, give us a handout every time so we can see a list of all the things that people thought was important. Does anyone have anything they want to add to the master plan list? Okay, let's move over to the back. Discussion items. The only thing I had was we were talking about those name tags. And my suggestion is, laminate them, some way they can stick them on them. Maybe on the back it says, you have to contact da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So it's done.
Just,
I know at the-
instead of laminating, could we just get one of those like clear things with the clip? Just give it to them, and if they want to be displaying it,
Okay, that's a good
or
idea.
they keep it in their wallet, whatever
When
they
we were on
want.
the Waterfront Advisory Board, they had a really neat one where you just would slip a card inside of it and had a little clip on it. And that was how we identified
Or like a
ourselves.
lanyard.
So,
that you-
Howie, I wasn't paying attention. So what Carmen said was, just have one of those things that we pass it out to them and they pin it on and they stick the card in.
Yeah.
So what was your suggestion?
Basically the same thing.
Okay.
With cookies, the city's
Okay, is there
had.
any other, number 7, is there any other discussion items?
I had some things. I already mentioned that I won't be here next month. And I have an update on the banner. Remember I brought up or 2 months ago about having a banner. And I've already gone to Digital Graffiti and talked to Joe there, Joe Shealy. And Carmen, I had sent out something, and then Carmen responded and took a picture of this and said, I'd like to see, because Carmen was on this as well as Jacob and I, discussing this, okay? And she said maybe we could go ahead and put the colors of the wayfinding signs that are going up right now and add Parks and Trails Commission at the bottom. And I like that. It's simple, but it's, it's gonna be like a 2x.
If you give me a picture of what you want, I will take it up with Joe and get it for us.
I already did that today. He's gonna send a proof, so I'll pass that on. But it's gonna look good. Yeah.
I'm happy to pitch in like we talked about.
Okay, and it's only gonna be $40.
Don't worry about it, I'll talk to Joe and I'll have him give it to us.
Well, if he doesn't want to give it to us.
He'll give it to us.
He said it was $40.
Okay, the other thing I'd like to just kind of mention is Howard passed this out. And it's my understanding that eventually, towards the end of the first paragraph here, it says, public recreational facilities. I don't know, I know that there's the Rex, St. Helens Rex has been working with the schools in the city. I don't know quite their relationship. But my understanding is there's also gonna be a $2 fee added to everyone's water bill to cover that. So is the public recreation facilities, are they eventually gonna be included in Parks and Rec and Trails? Or are they gonna have a separate commission? Huh?
It's unknown at this time.
Or a separate commission? My one would be to have a separate commission, because,
Basically have less money than the parks, so.
okay, very good.
I think
Does anyone else have anything they wanna say? Howard?
I'll do this as quick as I can. We added up all of our hours from the work parties and stuff that we did last year, and Caroline sent it out, and I don't think it ever made it to you guys. But in our spring and summer, me and Caroline donated 42 hours of labor in those first 6 months. Our work party at that time of the year gave 37 hours, so we had a total of 79 volunteer hours for the first half of the year. And in fall and winter, me and Caroline have donated 46 hours of our own time. Our work party had 48 hours of labor for a total of 94. So Friends of Nob Hill Nature Park donated 173 hours last year to the park.
And Sue, the only thing I have is, I wasn't gonna say that you guys are still working on the Cliff Trail when you get time.
looking.
They're doing that intermittently between other projects.
Have they actually started working on it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You haven't seen it? It's, go look at it.
Escalator.
That is amazing.
It's an
We're
escalator.
gonna keep bringing it up even when it's
I did have one.
Fly one.
I haven't been there for a while.
And it's a gondola.
I did have one. John, hang on, John, hang on, we're not done, John.
I move we adjourn.
Well,
I got one more thing.
Motion takes
is
precedence
there,
over all of them.
okay, Howard has one more thing,
Call for a vote.
We all,
and Lynn has two more things, and Carmen has a question.
we all need to start thinking about the dumping at the top of Gray Cliffs Park is continuing. You guys said that we should start
Did
trying
you
to.
report them?
Yes, we've reported it, and I think that we're gonna have to come up with some
I
ideas.
don't think
on
that's
that.
a
So-
park thing, though. I think that's
It's a park.
city report. But I think you have to
a city
report it to the
ordinance.
city for the city ordinance. I think you need to report. I don't think there's anything as a Parks Commission that we can do.
Yeah, unless
I
we,
think you need to report it
unless
to
we
the
say that we think that they need to do more about trying to figure out how to get it stopped.
Do you have specific examples that you can give, report to
Just
the city?
Go up there and take a look at it, and you can see there's all types of fresh stuff, kitty litter getting dumped over the edges, fire department.
I just think you have to, I think you have to report it to the city. There's nothing that as a Parks Commission we can do.
I think just go to the police department.
Yeah.
Yeah, go to the police.
Yeah.
If you've got proof, go to the police department and look.
Enforcement officer.
I mean, I'm not sure who's doing it, but I mean, you can have a sign up there and people continuously dump around it.
That's
Okay.
the problem.
Okay.
Figure out who it is.
Take it to the police department, take pictures, take it to the
Code
police.
enforcement.
The police should, and the police,
Can't the Parks Department?
and the police should, that's the
We
police,
can't do anything
that's a
about it,
police
though.
thing.
There's nothing you can
Lynn
do.
has two things she wants to say.
Yes, one thing I'd like to know is,
Over something like that.
But we can make recommendations and something needs to be done.
But we can't make recommendations unless there's a problem that's been reported to the city. I would say if the city, if you report it to the city, and the city's not dealing with it, and it's being ignored, then.
Babs
bring
even
it-
said it's been going on for years, and there's a sign that
But
the
are
city
you
put in.
report-
So it's there
But
already.
if you're not getting a report about it, keep reporting it, keep reporting it, and if they don't respond.
We have to have proof
this
of
is
who's
what we
doing it
said
too.
before.
Well,
But I
that's the
mean-
hard part, it's, you
But
know.
then how do you?
What do you want them to do,
There's only
Howard?
so much that we can do.
What do you
We
want them to do?
can't-
Well, that's why I thought I'd bring it to the Parks.
What do you want us to
You
do?
have a
City
couple of
park
times,
that
and
we
we
should maybe
said-
could try to give some ideas on it as we give ideas and recommendations.
So there's nothing we can do about it if we don't know who's doing it either. We need to.
I think
report to the
it's,
police.
I think the police need to make,
The police
be
need
aware
to-
of that.
They have been.
They have been.
You
I
need to
feel
catch
like
the
you have to
person in the
keep-
act.
Keep
Yeah.
reporting it.
I did.
And
I agree.
until
Did
you
anything
keep
happen to
reporting
them?
it, there's nothing we can do.
Yeah,
You
picture
can't
them.
go
I
to
gave
the
the
city
picture to the
council
police.
and
Dad, have
say-
you talked to the police?
I haven't personally, but I know that the code enforcement has been up there and has talked to people up there.
Okay, could you, I don't wanna make this a motion or anything, but could you talk to the police about that? And maybe they could make it a little higher priority?
They've been talked to several times about it. And
It's a low,
it's a police issue.
it's a low priority with them?
I don't know. The code enforcement, she's on it. She's on it, on these things pretty much all the time.
So I would say
Okay.
how we reach out to code enforcement and see what they say, and then if it would help for us to make a recommendation, then we'll do that,
Well,
but I
that's
just
what I
don't
really
know.
wanted to do now.
Okay, here's what I suggest.
Let's
But if you
talk
haven't
about it
talked
next
to
No, wait,
code
okay,
enforcement yet.
here's what I suggest. Talk to code enforcement, get on the agenda next time,
Okay.
and we can talk about it next time. It can be Carmen's.
Yeah, that's, well,
Okay.
I just think we can't just go into it, we have to talk to code enforcement first, and if we don't do that first, then we can't.
I
move
think
forward.
we all don't want dumping there, Howard.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we all
Well, that's
agree
why I
with
thought
that.
maybe we had some ideas on
But I think-
how it could be done.
Okay, you talk to code enforcement,
Okay,
tell us what they say.
okay.
We can discuss it, we can make a recommendation, and that can go to the city council, and the city council, if they think it's that important. You know, the police are under the city council, so they have a lot of power over the police. Lynn?
okay, so my husband and I went to Dalton Lake about a month ago, and we were trying to figure out, there's a bunch of heavy things that are in the park that should be taken out as garbage. But it's just laying there. And I don't know how long it's been there, but somebody left 2 black bags too a couple months ago. I think, Patrick, you've probably seen them along the trail, still there. So I was wondering who has a key to the gate so that we could get permission to go through that gate with our truck and pick this stuff up and take it out to the dump.
DOT, ODOT. ODOT?
Oh, it'd be us since we are, okay.
Thad, you have the key to that gate?
Public Works does probably.
Haven't they been pretty good if you just get it up to the road that Public Works would come by and grab it?
It's too much. It's too much to carry it up there. you know. So you should just be able to drive up, like
Drive in, just load
vector
it up.
control.
Well, no, that's what I'm, oh, that road down below, you mean?
Yeah. So Lynn, you're gonna contact Public Works.
Okay.
and They'll give you the key.
Okay.
I can't imagine
I'm sure
not giving
vector
you the key.
control has it too, but I was just wondering.
Yeah, they'll give you, they won't say no.
Great. And the other thing is, I went to the State of the City meeting on Saturday morning, and I recommend that you all go next year. It was great. They really worked hard, the counselors, and Sue was there, and they all presented really well. They had tables there for after the meeting, so you could go and ask questions. The school district was there with the new St. Helens High School idea that they have to update that school. But also, I got to go into the middle school, and that is just, it changed so much. It's
Cool, isn't it?
Yes, I was amazed. It's really good. But anyway, to make this short, go next year. It was great. And I got to tell you, I was the only commissioner there of all the commissions. So I hope more people show up.
How's it work?
Thank you for going.
Yes. Really enjoyed it.
Did someone else today want to say something?
Email me
Carmen,
and
you
tell
wanted
me
to say something.
where the stuff is and how much there is.
John?
I'll give it to the.
I go to the restroom.
LSU by 20.
Are you talking about Dalton?
Garbage, yeah.
The final.
Oh, well, there's two obvious black bags, but the rest is along the waterfront. And there's been old sleeping bags left, in the private property area, but years. But I'll do
Pick
it.
up the garbage bags and stuff.
Huh?
We'll go pick up the garbage bags.
Okay. Yeah, that's right along the Lower River Trail.
Okay, Carmen has something she'd
I
like
was
to
gonna
say.
ask about Godfrey Park, if there's updates on. I'm just gonna ask every time, that's fine.
This is gonna be a short meeting until
okay.
the group showed up, and,
Hour and a half, that's not
so,
bad.
no, an hour and a half's not bad, but that's, I think we need to let people say things. I mean, I think it's a hearing board, that's my philosophy, so we go from there. Patrick?
I was just gonna say, like the council does, I mean, if they're not on the agenda, they wanna say 5 minutes, and you say, we can check into that, but if they really want time, I think it really should be, again, I think you have the right to do that, to limit anybody who's not on the agenda 5 minutes. That's why I tried to shut up.
Yeah, I should have, that's a good point. I know John was trying to get me to speed things up a little bit. And, but, for Carmen and Lisa, next time, maybe when people come up, maybe on the agenda, we say it's limited to 5 minutes.
Oh, we don't have that.
It's supposed to be 5 minutes. It's supposed to only be 5 minutes.
Oh, is it only, it's supposed to be 5 minutes? Okay. Well, I'm good with following.
But there was 2 of them, so that's 10 minutes.
There's 3, so 15.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, the meeting is adjourned.
Patrick.
All right, Elise.
Or did Thad have something? Thad had something to say.
So everybody knows the reason the bathroom's closed over here is because
Yes.
we torched them.
Oh, no.
Yeah, big time. So we're waiting on the insurance company to come through and.
Can't get out of that.
Oh, I'm not, oh, no,
It's like
I'm not. What'd they do, put gas or?
But I think that's great, because I was interested in helping
The trash can that was there was plastic,
So,
and then it had a plastic insert in the middle of it with water. I mean, it's fancy. Torched that. And its smoke went clear through into the women's. It's a wonder it didn't catch the beams on fire. So hot that the stall doors warped.
Oh, God.
Who knows how much electrical damage it did.
thank you.
It's covered by insurance? No.
Heading south.
And that was
With a
Christmas.
$5,000
It
deductible.
was Christmas night, by the way.
And I liked
The
it.
thing was, the
And
playground that everybody picked and liked so much,
on.
the company will sell it to us, but they won't put it up.
From
Say that again?
They will sell it to us, but they won't install it.
Oh, the thing that we were talking about, okay.
Yeah, the
We should
playground.
go with the buffalo.
What about the second option?
And then,
First week.
I might be the same company,
Oh.
but, yeah, I think it is. But I've been calling and trying to get someone
Be the
to
next
return my call that will install them.
I got a
Whatever one.
call later after they were in Klamath
Anyway, I just want to give you guys an update.
Here, nobody's.
Is the meeting over? Let's go watch football game.
Yeah. There's 8:39 left in the first.
Well, no, no.
What's the start?
Oh, no, not the.
8:39